The ocean has always been a place of mystery, vast, unpredictable, and filled with secrets that refuse to stay buried. But no one expected that a simple music video shoot would turn into something far more unsettling, far more intriguing, and far more emotional than anyone could have imagined. What was supposed to be just another breathtaking visual project for BTS in 2026 has now spiraled into a story that fans across the world cannot stop talking about. It began quietly. The filming for the song Swim was announced as a grand, cinematic production. A massive ship, endless blue waters, and the signature emotional storytelling that BTS is known for. Everything about it seemed perfect on the surface. The members appeared calm, focused, even excited as they boarded the vessel that would soon become the center of global speculation. But then something changed, and at the center of it all was Jungkook. From the very first day of filming, insiders hinted that Jungkook's behavior was slightly different. Not alarming, not dramatic, just different. He was quieter than usual during certain moments, often found staring out at the ocean for longer than necessary, as if trying to piece together something only he could feel. At first, no one thought much of it. After all, Jungkook has always been known for his deep emotional sensitivity. Fans have seen him become immersed in concepts before, losing himself in music, performance, and storytelling. But this time, the energy surrounding him felt heavier, more intense, almost as if the environment itself was speaking to him. Then came the whispers. Crew members reportedly noticed Jungkook asking unusual questions about the ship. Not about the filming setup, not about camera angles or choreography, but about the ship's history, where it came from, who had used it before, whether it had ever been involved in something unexpected. Why would he ask that? No one had answers at the time. But the questions didn't stop. As filming continued, there were moments captured behind the scenes that never made it into official releases. Short clips, glances, a brief silence after a take. In one particular moment described by someone close to the production, Jungkook reportedly paused mid-scene, looking down at the wooden floor of the ship as if he had noticed something out of place. He didn't say anything immediately, but later that evening, according to circulating reports, Jungkook brought it up again, this time more seriously. He mentioned feeling something strange about the ship. Not dangerous, not threatening, just unfamiliar in a way he couldn't explain. Was it intuition or something else entirely? ARMY quickly picked up on these rumors, and the internet did what it does best, connecting dots, revisiting footage, analyzing every second of behind-the-scenes content with microscopic detail. And that's when things started getting truly interesting. Fans began pointing out subtle details in the Swim music video. A shadow that seemed slightly off. A reflection in the water that didn't match the angle of the shot. Jungkook's expression in certain scenes, more serious, more distant than the others, as if he was carrying a thought he couldn't share. Was it just acting, or was it real? The theories exploded. Some fans suggested that the ship used in the filming had a deeper history, perhaps one that wasn't widely known or publicly discussed. Others believed that Jungkook, being highly intuitive, may have simply picked up on an emotional atmosphere tied to the location. But then came the detail that changed everything. According to a viral discussion that spread rapidly across fan communities, the ship allegedly had been used years before for a completely different purpose, one that involved a story never officially confirmed, yet never fully denied. While no concrete evidence has surfaced to validate this claim, the timing of Jungkook's behavior and his curiosity about the ship's past has only fueled the speculation further. Coincidence or connection? The more fans revisited Jungkook's moments during the shoot, the more they began to notice a pattern. He wasn't just observing, he was reacting. Subtly, quietly, but consistently. A pause here, a glance there, a deep breath before continuing a scene. And then came the moment that many now refer to as the turning point. During one of the final filming days, Jungkook was seen standing alone at the edge of the ship long after the cameras had stopped rolling. The ocean was calm, the sky dimming. The rest of the members had already returned inside, but he stayed. Why? No official explanation was ever given, but a staff member later hinted that Jungkook had asked to stay a little longer, not for filming, but simply to feel the atmosphere. That one phrase alone sent fans into a frenzy. What did he mean by that? What exactly was he trying to understand? Was there something he sensed that others didn't? As the days passed and the Swim music video was finally released, the world saw what appeared to be a visually stunning masterpiece. The ocean, the ship, the unity of BTS, the emotional depth. But for those who had been following the behind-the-scenes whispers, it felt like there was something more beneath the surface, something unspoken, something unresolved. And at the center of it all, Jungkook remained silent. He never directly addressed the rumors, never confirmed or denied the speculation. But in later interviews, fans noticed a subtle shift in how he talked about the experience. He described the filming as memorable, but also different from anything before. Different how? That question still lingers. Some believe Jungkook may have discovered something personal, an emotional realization tied to the concept of the song itself. After all, Swim is about navigating through uncertainty, facing emotional waves, and continuing forward despite fear. Could it be that the ship, the ocean, and the entire experience simply amplified those feelings within him? Or is there still something we don't know? ARMY continues to debate. Some are convinced that there is a hidden story waiting to be uncovered. Others believe the truth is simpler, that Jungkook, as an artist, became deeply immersed in the environment and allowed it to influence his performance in a powerful way. But one thing is certain. Whatever happened on that ship left an impact, and perhaps that's what makes this story so captivating. Not because we have all the answers, but because we don't. Because somewhere between reality and speculation, between performance and emotion, lies a moment that only Jungkook truly understands. And maybe that's exactly how it was meant to be. So now the question turns to you. Do you believe this was just another filming location? Or something more? Did Jungkook simply act out a concept? Or did he experience something real that changed him? Even if only for a moment, look closely at the Swim music video again. Watch his expressions. Feel the atmosphere. Notice the silence between scenes, because sometimes the biggest stories are the ones that are never fully told. The deeper fans dive into the mystery, the more the story refuses to fade. It only grows louder, more layered, more impossible to ignore, because what happened on that ship didn't end when filming wrapped. It followed them. And perhaps most noticeably, it followed Jungkook. In the weeks after the release of Swim, observant fans began noticing subtle but undeniable changes in Jungkook's presence during live appearances and online interactions. It wasn't drastic. It wasn't something you could easily point at and say, "There, that's it." But it was there, woven into the way he spoke, the pauses he took, the way his eyes seemed to drift for just a second longer than usual when certain topics came up, especially when the ocean or the filming was mentioned. During one particular live session, when a fan casually asked about the most memorable part of shooting the music video, Jungkook smiled. A soft, almost nostalgic smile. But instead of immediately answering, he hesitated, just for a second. Then he said something that would later send fans into a spiral of theories. It felt like the place had its own story. That was no elaboration. No explanation. Just one sentence. But for ARMY, that was more than enough. What did he mean by its own story? Was he referring to the concept of the music video? The emotional narrative of the song? Or something far more literal? Something tied to the ship itself? The internet erupted. Clips of that moment were replayed thousands of times, slowed down, analyzed frame by frame. Fans debated the tone of his voice, the expression on his face, the exact wording he chose. Because with Jungkook, details matter. He's not someone who speaks carelessly, especially when it comes to something meaningful. And this felt meaningful. Soon after, a new wave of speculation emerged, this time focusing not just on the ship, but on Jungkook's connection to it. Some fans began suggesting that what Jungkook experienced wasn't external at all, but internal. That perhaps the environment triggered something within him, memories, emotions, or realizations that he hadn't fully confronted before. After all, Swim is not a light song. It carries themes of struggle, resilience, and emotional survival. The idea of staying afloat when everything feels like it's pulling you under. And for someone like Jungkook, who has spent years under intense global pressure as part of BTS, those themes aren't just abstract, they're personal. Could it be that the ship, isolated in the middle of the ocean, became a space where those emotions surfaced more strongly than ever before. A place where there was no noise, no distractions, just the sound of waves and his own thoughts. But then came another detail, one that shifted the narrative once again. That a crew member, speaking anonymously, claimed that on one of the filming nights, Jungkook had asked if anyone else had ever felt unusual while on the ship. Not scared, not uncomfortable, just aware of something they couldn't quite explain. The response? Most of the staff reportedly brushed it off, but one person didn't. According to the same source, there was a brief exchange, quiet, almost private, between Jungkook and a senior crew member who had worked with that particular vessel before. What was said during that conversation remains unknown, but witnesses noted that Jungkook's expression afterward was different, more serious, more focused, as if something had just been confirmed. That moment has since become one of the biggest unanswered questions surrounding the entire situation. What did he hear? What did that crew member tell him? And why did it seem to affect him so deeply? Theories multiplied. Some fans leaned into the idea that the ship had a hidden past, stories not publicly documented, events that left an emotional imprint on the space. Others rejected that notion entirely, arguing that the real story lies in Jungkook's artistry, his ability to connect so deeply with an environment that it transforms his performance into something almost otherworldly. But perhaps the most compelling theory is the one that sits somewhere in between. What if the ship did have a history? Not necessarily something dramatic or supernatural, but something human, something emotional, something that resonated with the themes of Swim in a way that Jungkook, with his sensitivity, was able to pick up on. What if he didn't discover a shocking fact in the traditional sense, but instead felt it? Because sometimes, the most powerful truths aren't found in documents or records, they're felt. And Jungkook has always been someone who feels deeply. As time went on, the intensity of the rumors began to settle, but the fascination never disappeared. Fans continued to revisit the music video, not just as a piece of art, but as a puzzle, searching for hidden meanings, subtle clues, anything that might bring them closer to understanding what really happened during those days at sea. And yet, no definitive answer ever came. No official statement. No confirmation. No denial. Just silence. But not an empty silence, a meaningful one. Because in that silence, the story continues to live, growing, evolving, becoming something bigger than the original event itself. It's no longer just about a ship or a filming location. It's about perception, emotion, the invisible connection between an artist and the world around him. And maybe that's the real story. Not a shocking discovery hidden in the past of a vessel, but a moment, brief, quiet, almost invisible, where Jungkook connected with something deeper than the surface. Something that stayed with him, even after he stepped off the ship and returned to the world. So now, the mystery remains. Not solved. Not closed. Just waiting for someone to notice something new. To interpret a detail differently. To ask a question no one has asked before. And maybe, one day, Jungkook himself will choose to tell the full story. Or maybe he won't. Maybe some stories are meant to stay incomplete. Because it's the not knowing that makes them unforgettable. As the waves continue to crash against distant shores, and as Swim continues to echo through speakers around the world, one question still lingers in the minds of millions. What really happened on that ship? And more importantly, what did Jungkook feel that no one else could?